picture this: windmills, wooden clogs, delicious cheese, and the charming streets of Zaandam. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today the dream becomes reality. We're about to step into the heart of Netherlands, where history meets culture in the most epic way. From the famous windmills of Zaanse Schans to the quirky Intel Hotel in Zaandam, we're talking clog-making demos, cheese tasting, and all the charm of Dutch traditions. So hit that subscribe button, grab a snack, and let's dive into one of the most beautiful, unique places in Europe. You won't want to miss this. So let's go. Our first stop is Zaandam, which is a quick 12-minute train ride from Amsterdam Central. As soon as you step out of the station, you're greeted by the iconic Intel Hotel, designed to look like a colorful stack of traditional Zaanse houses. This area is home to plenty of shops, cafes, and restaurants, making it a great spot to explore before heading deeper into the town. The streets are pedestrian-friendly, with a blend of quirky architecture and local energy that makes it a perfect introduction to Zaandam's unique character. It is the heart of the town where modern life meets its rich history. Zaandam was once an important hub during the Dutch Golden Age, known for its shipbuilding and trade. Today, it's a great mix of history and modern vibes. It's vibrant and bustling, offering a mix of modern flair and traditional Dutch charm. If you have some time, I would definitely recommend wandering around the town centre. There are plenty of cozy cafes and shops to explore before heading to Zaanse Schans. So cold.
It's alright.
After exploring the colourful streets of Zaandam, we made our way to Zaanse Schans, one of the most beautiful and historic spots in the Netherlands. It was a short and easy ride, and as soon as we arrived, we felt like we've stepped into a Dutch fairy tale. Our first stop in Zaanse Schans was the wooden clog workshop, and trust me, this was one of the most fascinating experiences of the day. Wooden clogs, known as klampen in Dutch, represent a significant piece of Amsterdam's cultural heritage, with the oldest discovered wooden shoe dating back to 1230. At the workshop, we got to watch a live demonstration of how these famous clogs are made. These practical footwear items evolved from simple wooden-soled shoes with leather straps to fully wooden designs carved from a single block of wood, perfectly suited to the Netherlands' wet, muddy conditions. The shoe gained widespread use among farmers and labourers in the 16th and 17th century due to the water-resistant properties and protective features. While traditional craftsmen called botkers initially made these shoes by hand, production became more industrialized during the 18th and 19th century. Today, although rarely worn by urban Amsterdam residents, klampen maintain their cultural significance, with approximately 3 million pairs produced annually in the Netherlands for agricultural use, tourism, and cultural preservation. It was incredible to see a simple block of wood transform into a perfectly shaped shoe in just minutes. The craftsman used a combination of traditional hand tools and modern machines, and he explained how the wood is carefully selected and dried to make sure the clogs last for years. Honestly, this was such a fun and unique experience. Whether you're buying a pair as a souvenir or just learning about this iconic Dutch tradition, the clog workshop is definitely a must visit. After that, we got to see rows and rows of beautifully painted clogs, some with intricate floral designs, others in bright colors, and even some super fancy ones with carvings. After our fun experience at the clog workshop, we headed to something completely different. A diamond workshop. Now you might not immediately think of diamonds when you think of Netherlands, but Amsterdam and its surroundings have been at the heart of the diamond trade for over 400 years. When we arrived, we were welcomed into the workshop and taken through the fascinating process of how raw diamonds are transformed into dazzling gemstones. Our guide explained the 4 C's: cut, clarity, color, and carat, which determine a diamond's value and quality. It's hard to believe how they start as dull-looking rocks before they get their signature shine. And for a final stop, we saved the tastiest experience for the last, the cheese farm. The Netherlands is famous for its cheese with classics like Gouda, Edam, and Beemster, and this farm keeps the tradition alive using old-fashioned techniques. We got a peek inside the production area where they showed us how fresh milk is turned into cheese using natural rennet, cultures, and a whole lot of patience. They even demonstrated how the cheese is pressed into shapes and aged to develop that rich and creamy flavor.
In the old days, we take the radish from the stomach, and we end up with curds, the solid at the bottom, and whey, the liquid at the top. After curds, we make the cheese, and the whey we don't throw away. We make, for instance, whey beer. And it's a company that makes sports drinks out of the whey because it's super high in protein. After half an hour, we scoop the curds out of the tank like that. And there's tiny holes in the bottom. There's a reason for that. Because we heat the curds up like that, put a lid on top, and we apply pressure for 2 hours. And that's how Henry used to do it. And nowadays a bit quicker in the cheese factory. After applying pressure for 2 hours, we end up with a small baby cheese like this, but we're not there yet. In the old days, the captains would sail across the oceans and then salt their meat and fish to preserve it. We do the same thing with cheese. So we put the young cheeses into a brine solution of 80% water and 20% salt and leave it in there for 24 hours. And then we put the cheeses out to dry on wooden shelves in the old days. Nowadays stainless steel to mature them, to dry the cheeses. 4 weeks for young cheese, 4 months for a medium cheese, 8 months for an old cheese, and 12 months for an extra old cheese. So you can taste the different flavors and ages in a minute in the shop. After the process, we cover the cheeses in wax and sometimes cellophane. And that means you can export them all over the world once you keep them closed, and they stay fine inside the fridge for 4 weeks. Now when you come home, take the cellophane and the wax off, cut some cheese, enjoy it, wrap it in plastic, and you can keep it in the fridge for a further 4 to 6 weeks.
And then came the best part, the tasting session. We got to sample so many different varieties from young and creamy cheeses to aged, extra sharp ones, and even some with herbs and garlics and truffle. Every bite was better than the last, and honestly, it was impossible to choose a favorite. If you're ever in the Netherlands, make sure to stop by a cheese farm because it's an experience you and your taste buds would never forget. And that's a wrap on our amazing trip to Zaandam and Zaanse Schans. But the adventure doesn't stop here. Next up, we're heading to Amsterdam, so if you want to see more epic travel content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Amsterdam, here we come.